gentlemen, Gungans, droids, Cattymundi, Conans, the creepy looking Plagueis people lurking in the shadows of reasons we never know because their show got canceled. But anyways, you know what's not canceled? Arnold Holonet News. The only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. People, bring it on down. Finally, something to wake us up. It's been so snoozy in this game. Oh! But finally, we have the Baylan Skoll K reveal. It's game time, people. This Thursday, Halloween, at 11 a.m., October 31st, we are going to get the Baylan Skoll epic confrontation final. They've been dragging on the Ahsoka and Baylan stuff for several months. Still waiting on some Ahsoka stuff. We have a little bit of the next Ahsoka requirements here, as we're going to break down at the very end, or requirement to be more appropriate. But people, let's get over there. Long story short, this kit, man, this is more like a TLDR. Too long, didn't read. This kit is ginormous. Yeah, super long kit reveal. We're gonna take our time going through it. It's looking a lot of fun. And just yesterday we were talking about, man, there's probably gonna be a chance Hondo and Baylan Skoll are gonna work together. There's literally direct synergy with Hondo inside of this kit. Really excited about that. Before we start breaking the kit reveal, want to let you guys know they left it at the very end. Bonus info: Baylan Skoll will not be required for GL Ahsoka. My guesstimation is Bo-Katan will. We have to wait and see. However, CT7567 Rex will be required at Relics, and we predicted that. We thought, all right, that's a reasonable thing. So not the old man Rex. I believe this is referring to the clone trooper Rex. So, all right. Now the problem is, what about the next, like the rest of them? There's still like, what? We have like 9 more that we're kind of waiting on, or whatever the number is. So I'm assuming maybe this next update, maybe they'll drop a little bit more on us. Nonetheless, let's get to the kit reveal. I felt really sad. I had to like hop off the stream the second the kit reveal came because I helped the lady of Alderaan deliver like 1 trillion packages at the Royal Post Office here. But no worries, we're here right now to showcase what Baylan Skoll has to offer. They told us a while ago he was going to be a tank. I always imagine him kind of being like a Ganondorf. You know, Ganondorf in like Smash Brothers is kind of like a tank that does some high damage. We're going to be seeing some of that here. Leader, mercenary, unaligned force user, dark side as well. And don't worry, even though their teaser from last week's show that he had no unique ability, he's got unique abilities. Don't worry about it. A few other things I want to bring out here. So as I said, October 31st, Halloween, 11 a.m. Pacific, we'll be running it. And it's only going to be for a limited time, requiring Relics of Thrawn, Great Mothers, Marak, Morgan, Elsbeth, and Shin. And he's getting an exclusive Datacron. This really irks me, man. He's going to have an exclusive Datacron that's only going to be available during the first run of the Epic Confrontation event. I mean, assuming this is going to be like Bo-Katan, they're going to run it repetitively over each month. Yeah, so if someone, let's say, don't get him right now, they get him next month, they're not going to get the Datacron. Oh, man, they're really... Again, I had a little rant on the stream today. There's sometimes... they do the wrong decisions and they have a hard time doing the right decisions. Whatever. Okay. Let's get to the kit reveal. This is what we're here for. That was a mistake. Yes. These Datacrons are a mistake. I agree. 1000% Baylan. Let's get rolling here. Basic ability: deal physical damage to target enemy. If it's Baylan Skoll's turn, he recovers 5% health and protection. If you're going to be tanking and taunting, being able to keep you topped off with something is kind of important. So being able to get that health protection coming is going to be nice. And all mercenary allies are going to get 5% turn meter. So just using a basic, and if you get like retribution and all that stuff on it, that could be very nice. However, clarify, it has to be on his turn. So counterattacking won't get him any turn meter, but tenacity up as well. Otherwise, this attack deals 30% less damage and he taunts. So a basic being able to trigger a taunt, that's kind of in a way like K2SO in a capacity. So yeah, we need freaking ways to get this guy taunting, and let me tell you something, we got more. Spoiler alert as well. Remember Shin? Yeah, I know we don't really use her too much, but she's got a stealth mechanic and she leaves the tank out in the open. So we even have like quasi tank things or taunting things where if you're not directly taunting, we have someone like Shin that's gonna make you taunt. And special one must destroy. Cooldown of 3. Dispel all debuffs on all mercenary allies. All right, you sold me. All right, we can move on. Like, isn't it crazy that once upon a time, like new characters, like powerful characters would just have like cleanse everyone? Like, oh, that's great. Now we got to have a bunch of other stuff here. Deal physical damage to the target enemy 3 times. And this is where I'm assuming we're going to get a little bit of damage cooking up in here. You're going to stagger them, inflict defense down, offense down for 2 turns. And Baylan Skoll's gonna, whoa, guess what? Another way to make him taunt for 2 turns. And all mercenary allies gain offense up and potency up for 2 turns. And come here. Let me tell you something. There's going to be more ways to make his offense go even crazier. Not even just his, the whole entire team. So just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. Patience. And patience for victory will guarantee defeat. Ooh, what a great line that he gave. Oh, boy, it's still so sad about Ray Stevenson. I don't know how they're going to fill in Baylan Skoll's shoes, but that's. Luckily, I'm not in charge of figuring that problem out. Then special 2 power. Such as you've never dreamed. Zeta, Omicron, cooldown of 4. Oh boy. Now here's where they start dialing up the letters and the words, and you know me, more words usually equals more better. Deal physical damage to all enemies, dispel all buffs on them, stun them for 1 turn. Enemies who resist this stun lose 50% turn meter instead, which can't be evaded or resisted whenever this ability is used. Baylan Skoll gains 5% tenacity, and if he has 40 stacks of Soldier of Fortune, all mercenary allies gain 20% offense stacking for the rest of the battle, and these effects persist through defeat. You know, do they actually mean that? How many abilities do we have that say persist through defeat? And it doesn't really persist through defeat. I'm talking about you, Bane. Yeah, don't get me going on that. Now you're gonna be asking, how do we get all the Soldier of Fortune? Because we you know, Marak, Shin, it's been hard to get a lot of Soldier of Fortune. Don't worry. We got a lot of ways to get plenty of Soldier of Fortune at the very beginning, especially, and of course, the ways throughout the battle. But guess what? This guy's got a Grand Arena Omicron. You got me sold already. While in Grand Arena, enemies who resist stun for this ability instead lose 100% turn meter instead, which can't be resisted. I'm still assuming on things like Malgus, who are immune to turn meter manipulation, you still can't remove turn meter, but you know, just putting it out there, having turn meter removal is still a big thing. But check this out. Inflict armor shred on all enemies until the end of the battle. I mean, an AoE armor shred. AoE armor shred. Oh, Bo-Katan, well, that's cute. You know, you got 1 armor shred. Oh, guess what? This guy doesn't need a dark saber. He's gonna armor shred everybody. Wow. And that's on his 2nd special too. Cooldown of 4 isn't all that crazy either, man. And guess what? We got some probably a lot of ways to get him some those abilities out there. Anyways, moving on. Whenever this ability is used, all mercenary allies gain 10 speed, stacking up to a potential of maximum of 100 until the end of the battle. And yet again, this effect persists through defeat. Does it really though? Does it really, CG? Okay, I guess we'll have to wait and see. So we're gonna have ways to pump offense, pump speed, armor shred. This team is seeming like it's got the durability, and it's also got some heavy hitting damage. And now we get into our unique abilities. Oh boy, and 2 unique abilities, and boy, there's a lot of words. Again, more words equals more better. Here we go. Unique ability, Master, an Apprentice, Zeta, and an Omicron on here. If Shin is an ally at the start of the battle, Baylan gains 5 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. Okay, if Marak's at the start of battle, he gets another 5 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So very similar to like, you know, Afra, you know, BT and Trip are present. She gets a bunch of turn meter, right? This is similar in a way. So right there, 10 stacks Soldier of Fortune, assuming you have both of those characters under, which makes sense. You probably will, right? So that's gonna be your core trio. Then while Baylan is active, he and Marak and Shin gain 10% critical avoidance, 20% evasion. Avoidance is very important. Critical avoidance for Shin, you don't want her being critically hit. And whenever an enemy evades Baylan's attacks, he's gonna get 2% offense stack a tank, getting 2% offense stacking for the rest of the encounter, and all mercenary allies recover 20% health. So you know, you don't want to be, you don't want this guy to be blinded. You don't want to have foresight. It's gonna cost you. You're gonna slowly increase the amount of damage he's gonna be getting, and 20% health to protect recover just passively. It's kind of a big deal. At the start of his turn, Baylan recovers 3% health and protection, and he gains the following effects depending on his stacks of Soldier Fortune. And don't worry, we have more ways to get Soldier Fortune than just those 10. So when he has 45 stacks, while he's taunting, which there's a few ways to get him taunting, we already saw with his basic, his special ability, he reflects 45% of the damage dealt to him, which can't defeat enemies. So hypothetically, if someone does 100,000 damage to you, what are you gonna give to them? 45,000 damage just from a reflection? So it's kind of like a steadfast retribution almost. 50 stacks or more, whenever Baylan attacks an enemy inflicted with the Purge, Marak, he also exposes them for 1 turn. Then when he's at 55 plus stacks, whenever Baylan stuns an enemy, he reduces their speed by 10, stacking to up to 100 until for the rest of the battle. But guess what? He's got an Omicron on this as well. While in Grand Arena, at the start of his turn, Baylan's gonna get the additional effects depending on how much Soldier Fortune. Okay, so if he's at 45 stacks, now he's gonna get this. Whenever Baylan is damaged while taunting, he grants a random other mercenary ally speed up for 1 turn if they didn't already have. It's kind of like when you hit like Kylo Ren on Mask and it kind of like passes around some buffs, you know, something like that. We're kind of seeing something like that here. Speed up. Your team's gonna be kind of fast with all these speed ramping things we already got in this kit. At 50 stacks or more, Baylan's attacks, whenever Baylan attacks an enemy of Purge, he's reducing their tenacity by 20%. So I'm wondering You know, Master Kirby's got a lot of tenacity on his team. You know, oh, well, if you're reducing it by up to 100%, 20% tenacity, that's kind of a big boost that's going to be chopped away. And then at 55 stacks more, when Baylan stuns an enemy, he's increasing their cooldowns by 1. So now we have a targeted cooldown increase as well. Kind of reminiscent, I guess, you know, Malgus's, you know, cooldown increase that he has as well. So the question is, though, how do we get to the 55 or more? I mean, we see 10. That doesn't sound like enough. Well, let's keep reading along. Unique ability number 2. At the start of the battle, Baylan Skoll gains 1 stack of Soldier Fortune for each relic amplifier level he has. So if he's got 9, and then he's gonna be a tank, so probably gonna be worth it. 9 plus 10 at the very beginning, that's gonna be 19 just at the very start here. Whenever Baylan Skoll taunts, a random mercenary ally gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. Now my question is, if you already, I mean, I believe I'm gonna answer my own question. Let's say he already had taunt and he somehow gets it again. Does it? I don't think it stacks again. I'm curious about that. Like, it doesn't like overlap? And he gets more out there. But anyways, we see he has plenty of ways to get taunting. That's gonna be one way of pumping some Soldier of Fortune out. But don't worry, we'll get to the leader ability. This is gonna get even bigger. And if Baylan has more than 3 stacks, he loses 3 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. Okay, well, let's keep moving. Whenever Baylan is damaged while taunting, he gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. So just hitting him. So like, let's say, imagine, you know, Mon Mothma, big swarm attacks, right? You're gonna be ramping up those Soldier of Fortunes quite a lot, right? Anyways, moving on though. At the start of their turn, all mercenary allies gain 5% health steal stacking and 2% defense stacking for each of the Soldier of Fortune they have until the start of their next turn. So again, if you somehow had 50 stacks, well, that's 100% defense, and there's no limit to this. So the way I'm seeing it, you know, the more you hit him, he's kind of like feeding all the Soldier of Fortune to everyone else. Like, great, read this one more time. When he taunts, you know, he's going to give mercenary allies 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. He's going to lose 3, which is fine. And then he's going to be able to just regain it when he's being hit. So he's got ways to kind of feed it to the teams. It starts with him, feeds it to the rest. But I promise you, it's all going to be inevitable with this leadership ability. This is when things start to really make sense for the mercenaries as an identity team in this game. You know, they haven't really had like a solid identity. This is what's going to solidify their identity finally. It's all inevitable. Zeta, Omicron. At the start of the battle, Baylan Skoll gains 30% offense. Again, this is a tank. We're giving him a bunch of offensive boosts. And all mercenary allies gain 20% tenacity and 1 stack of Soldier Fortune for each active mercenary ally. So, okay. So what's our starting number now? So we get 5 here, right? You know, you got 5 people on the team, right? Plus another 10 from the Shin and Marak being present, right? Plus another 9. So what are we at? I'm losing track. 24, right? 24, I believe is the number. So at the very beginning, Baylan's going to have 24, but then all mercenary allies double their current stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So does that put Baylan turn 1, assuming you have Relic 9, Shin, Marak, 5 mercenaries? What is that, 24 times 2? Does that mean he's gonna be at 48? You know, and then in case he loses 3, he's gonna go down to 45, which is basically the minimum he needs to start triggering some effects here. You see where I'm getting at here? So we're finally seeing, you know, we said, you know, we're not getting a lot of Soldier Fortune. This is gonna help out with that. Remember, Shin, Marak, they're gonna have their own interaction with it. And of course, the rest of the team is gonna benefit from this. So check this out. Here's where Hondo comes into play. Whenever a mercenary ally gains a stack of ransom, there's only one character that can do that right now. That's Hondo, baby. All mercenary allies gain 1% defense stack. I am beyond pumped. I mean, I've been talking about this for the past couple months while Baylan's been working his way to the game. We just talked about it yesterday. I like Hondo, but I feel like he should be used a bit more. He's not really being used, you know, unless, you know, it's kind of a very niche thing. I want to do more than just a niche thing. This should hopefully be great because now you're sharing the benefits of ransom. He goes up to what, like 50? So he's going to give 50% defense to everyone else. That's going to be nice, right? And then at the end, until the end of the counter, and recover 5% health and protection. So yeah, and Honda's going to be passively helping the team stay alive. Next up, whenever mercenary ally has health steal up, they gain 25% critical damage and protection up. 50% that is, until health steal up expires. And remember, protection up is based off of your max health. So the bigger your max health pool, the more beneficial your protection up is going to be. Then whenever a mercenary ally is dazed or stunned, oh, this is scary. This is scary. This is not even like hinged on a Grand Arena Omicron. They're going to dispel it, and all mercenary allies are going to recover 25% health and protection. That's big. You know how, like, you know, the Inquisitors, they really started to do cool stuff when they couldn't be stunned? Now they can't be dazed either. Stun and daze, 2 of the most powerful debuffs to really try to control a team. They're going to cleanse it, and then they're going to get 25% health and protection recovery. They're going to be like, thank you very much. Wow. But check this out, though. Now we have these, no galactic legend clauses. If there are no enemy galactic legends. So obviously this guy is so powerful. They want to make sure they shut down some things when he's going up against certain galactic legends, or all of them. But I still think he's going to beat some galactic legends despite this clause. Whatever mercenary allies inflicted with fear. So this is kind of the weird thing here. Let me just read it. All mercenary allies gain 50% bonus max protection and offense. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Until the end of the encounter. Recover 50% health and protection. Deal true damage to all enemies, which can't be evaded or defeat them. Jeez. Blind them for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted, and inflict them with healing immunity for 1 turn, which can't be evaded, dispelled, or resisted. So here's where things are kind of a little weird for me. If there are no enemy galactic legends, whenever an mercenary allies inflicted fear, there really aren't any galactic legends that apply fear. I mean, fear is, for the most part, yeah, you got fear like on Trench, you got fear on Darth Malgus's team, or more importantly, I guess Malgus too, with all the doubt. Malik, Revan. I mean, I guess you could put the Sith Empire with Sith Eternal to get fear, but generally we don't really have galactic legends with this, so that's why I'm a little perplexed. So it's somehow conditioned on making sure there's no GL there, and you'll get all this cool stuff here, but it's fear. So I'm a little perplexed by it. They're throwing a lot of stuff in there to I guess basically make sure that Malgus and Revan don't have a good time with this. But again, if there are no enemy galactic legends, so again, my only guesstimation is if you're using Sith Eternal with them, maybe. Yeah, you see where my confusion is? Yeah, I'm having a hard time understanding this. So if you're fighting a galactic legend, it doesn't matter. And if you're not fighting a team in fear, this is all just kind of unnecessary. Unless there's something down the road, who knows? Maybe you guys can go wild on, oh my gosh, galactic legend Revan's gonna come, I can't wait. I don't know. You can let your imagination go wild. Just it's a little bit weird is all I'm saying. But anyways, next clause here. We're not done yet. Whenever a mercenary ally assists or attack out of turn, they gain 2 stacks of soldier fortune. So even more ways to get soldier fortune. And the first time each of the mercenary allies falls below 50% health, Baylan Skoll is going to taunt, which can't be dispelled or prevented. And you remember what happens when he taunts? Yeah, we already talked about that. He's gonna mess around soldier fortune, get even more out there for the team. And then while taunting, Baylan has 50% defense, 30% tenacity, and retribution until taunt expires. Now my question is the retribution locked in? It doesn't say it isn't, so I guess it could be dispelled potentially. And then Wild and Grand Arenas, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. At the start of the battle, Baylan's gonna taunt for 2 turns. I want to remind you gently, this is the leader ability stuff. The leader ability. We're still in the leader ability. This feels like a unique ability here. Whenever mercenary allies assist or attack, I'm lost my place. Here we go. While in Grand Arena at the start of battle, Baylan's gonna taunt. Boom, right away. So I guess if you want to use them as a plug and play tank, you could, but I think you're gonna want to stick with mercenaries. If there was a non-galactic legend, Ahsoka enemy, Commander Tano, Baby Tano, Fulcrum Ahsoka Tano, yeah. So, but it's not against galactic legend Ahsoka Tano, which who knows when she's gonna be here. Mercenary allies ignore protection, are immune to critical hits and healing immunity, and they expose all enemies and inflict them with healing immunity for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted at the start of each of their turns. So, as I said, even though there's this anti-galactic legend clause, remember, that is only pertaining to fear. It's this, oh my gosh, I'm like losing my place. This checking for a galactic legend, that only applies to these set of clauses right here. After that, everything else is completely independent of that. If I'm reading this correctly, who knows? There's one way how it reads, and it might work completely differently out there. But being able to do all this, ignore protection, immune to critical hits, healing immunity, expose enemies, inflict them with healing immunity. This sounds like a death sentence for Master Kenobi. Wow. Again, on paper, it sounds pretty good. If there are no galactic legend enemies, whenever Baylan taunts, he inflicts all enemies with doubt. Gosh dang this. Jeez. Oh. So are you telling me when he's taunting at the very beginning, he's inflicting doubt? This seems like a nightmare of a character to deal with. Man, if Baylan is not taunting, whenever an enemy takes a bonus turn, they're inflicted with a healing immunity for 3 turns, which can't be dispelled. So if Wat Tambor takes a bonus turn, but again, it's he's gonna be taunting at the very beginning, so I'm sure there's gonna be like select instances where the bonus turn will kick in. I don't know, let's just hypothetically say General Grievous, right? General Grievous can take bonus turns. Baylan might not be taunting. Boom, applying with healing immunity. Okay. Whenever an enemy gains foresight, they dispel it and are inflicted with buff immunity for 2 turns instead. Jeez. This is, oh gosh, what a What a nasty kit this is. Whenever an enemy gains Inspire. Wow, okay. Is this the same thing as Inspiration? Okay. Reduce all enemies' evasion by 50%, stacking until the end of the encounter, and all mercenary allies gain 80% defense stacking. Oh my gosh, and bonus protection. Hold on a second. Gary, pull up the game real quick. Let me, God dang, it's too loud, man, too loud. Let me double check, because is Inspire the same thing as, where's the resistance? Ray. Okay. Where is the thing? Where is the thing? Where Inspiration? Is this right here? Lifeblood? No. Where the heck is it? Yeah, here we go. I'm assuming Inspire is the same thing as Inspired, right? I mean, it's just this is, yeah, okay. It's just a little, maybe they're gonna rename it to Inspire rather than Inspired. I don't know. Just, yeah, it seems weird. Anyways, let me go back to it. Whenever an enemy gains Inspire, so this seems to be mostly like a Ray interaction. Reduce all enemies' evasion by 50% stacking until the end of the encounter. All mercenary allies gain 80% jeez. So if they get 3 stacks of Inspire at the beginning, that's what Ray does, right? Usually, you're gonna get what, 240% defense and 50% bonus protection? Ugh. But then defeated enemies can't be revived, and mercenary allies can't be instantly defeated. So again, just reading this right here, right now, assuming it's gonna work as it's read, I'd say at the minimum, Master Kenobi seems, in Grand Arena, I don't know if I can promise it outside of Grand Arena, but in Grand Arena, being immune to instant defeat, what's Commander Tano's purpose? If she's not instant defeating, what is her purpose? You know, yeah, she can hit hard, but remember, what happens if there's an Ahsoka Tano? Well, they can't critically hit, they can't get immunity, they're gonna ignore protection. This seems like Kenobi's gonna get dunked on by this team. That's gonna be crazy, but I mean, here's the thing. I'm sure it's gonna be even more Galactic. Probably Ray as well, maybe a few other things in between. But this thing looks like a menace on defense. So many things, some debuffs, the buffs, the things that are stacking on his kit. Holy smokes, people. What a wild kit. Well, guess what? We're going to find out later on this week what this guy is going to be all about. Oh my. Hopefully you guys are able to absorb all that. That was a lot of words that were thrown at us here. Even myself, there's some things I'm going to be like, oh, I don't understand how that works. We're going to have to get it on the battlefield later on this week on Thursday. We are going to see what Baylan Skoll has to offer. Boy, the most important question is Hondo ready for his new home? My hope and dream. I know there's a lot of mercenaries we're going to play around with, like Dash Rendar, Dengar, like our high priority things. I want to see Hondo, and I want to see Boba Fett side of Django. That's gonna be good. And keep in mind, people, this video would be an hour long if I reminded you about a lot of the other things we have from Shin and Marok, what they're offering for the mercenaries. Remember what we showed of Boba Fett's side of Django, where he's getting like back-to-back turns because of all the turn meter gains? Don't forget that this team's also getting a ton of turn meter pumping through the veins because of Marok as well. So, but don't worry. We're going to put all that together later on this week. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Man, I hope you guys are ready for this kit. I don't even know if I am. But you know, until we meet again, always remember, my friends, that no matter where you are, who you are, it's always great to be in the Empire today.